What's the difference between a breastfeeding educator and a lactation consultant? This is a question that I'm often asked and touches very near and dear to my heart because of the role that I play as a doula and a peer lactation counselor. And I'm currently in training to actually be a breastfeeding educator. So let me tell you, when you're leaking, or maybe you're very tired, you'll probably be very tired, and you're trying to figure out if your baby is actually eating, the last thing you need to do is be confused about who can you turn to for help. So let's clear that up, shall we? Love and blessings, beautiful people. My name is Elizabeth Vanderbilt. I'm a holistic doula and a women's health coach currently residing in Saskatchewan, Canada. Everything said in my videos are for educational purposes. They are not for me to give out medical advice or act like I know how to help you specifically in your case. So, like I always say, please do your own research and consult a healthcare professional if you so choose. So let's jump in, shall we? So firstly, I want to help you meet the two amazing types of support people that are out there. And one of those is breastfeeding educators. So these are folks that are trained to help with any type of general breastfeeding education and support. So think of them as your friendly tour guide into the land of latching, milk supply, feeding positions, and what's normal in those early weeks. They might have multiple different types of certifications. So they could be a CLE, so that stands for a Certified Lactation Educator, or a CLC, which is a Certified Lactation Counselor. Or they could have a CBS, which is a Certified Breastfeeding Specialist. Their trainings can vary, and it's usually very less on the clinical side and more on the education side, which is super valuable, especially before birth when you're planning with the goal and intention of breastfeeding, or if you're in the very early postpartum days. Now, lactation consultants. These are the folks, especially the IBCLC, International Board Certified Lactation Consultants, have gone through intensive types of trainings with clinical hours and a very serious international exam. They are trained to handle many complex breastfeeding challenges like tongue ties or maybe low milk supply, latch issues that won't resolve, or any type of nipple trauma, painful feeds, and slow weight gain, and more. So, if you're pregnant, or maybe you are just going through the very new first few days of postpartum and you want to learn the basics, prepare your body, or can help you get that initial latch or positioning, a breastfeeding educator is perfect. But I want to talk to you about what happens if your baby isn't gaining weight, breastfeeding hurts, or if you suspect that something more complicated is going on. This is where you're going to want to bring in the big guns, as they say, and that would be a lactation consultant. Now, I want to give you some real life examples so that maybe you can explore where you might be at. And if you are anything like me, I struggle with just being like, oh, but they have the education to help with this, but can't be helpful here. So hopefully this helps break that down a little bit for you. So if you're expecting your first baby and you want to learn how a good latch is set up, or you want to know what to expect in the first 24 to 48 hours, maybe you want to learn how to hand express colostrum, you'd benefit from taking a class or having a consultation with a breastfeeding educator. Now, let's say you're in a situation where baby is 3 weeks old and you've been trying to breastfeed, but your nipples are cracked, they are bleeding, and your baby is nursing every 45 minutes. This is time for a lactation consultant. You deserve the real help that you can get, and not just YouTube spirals or trying to Google up answers at 3 in the morning when you're desperate with a baby on your boob. So I want to let you in on a secret. I want to help educate you as much as possible so that you don't have to choose just one. A lot of people always think it's either or, when if you're financially in a spot, or there's lots of pro bono programs out there. In fact, you could benefit from both of us. So I highly suggest, if you are currently just pregnant, I would like you to start looking into breastfeeding educators in your area so that you can learn the foundation of breastfeeding. And then if anything tricky comes up, something that, you just need that next level of personalized care, that's when you're going to want to bring in a lactation consultant. And a lot of hospital programs, especially in Canada, have these services at the ready for you. So think of it as like having a midwife and a birth doula. They are both helpful, but in very different ways. Now, I want to remind you, there is no shame in asking for help. Women for centuries have been getting support from mothers, grandmothers, aunties, sisters in the community that would help them. So nowadays, you are suffering for what? You just need support, but in a different way than people of the old had. So I highly recommend that you do look into getting a service, especially a lactation consultant if you can. Thank you so much for watching another video. Make sure to subscribe to find more tips just like these. Peace.